So what did the first Descendant get right? First, the character design was beautiful and they had unique skills to showcase. Secondly, the boss fights were amazing, and fighting all the Colossus in the game was the best part of the first Descendant. Then, the loot is satisfying as each time you kill bosses, it will drop good loot to upgrade your Descendants or weapons. The gameplay and movement feels satisfying also. Overall, the game has a potential to be great. I don't criticize the game too much just yet on the graphic side of things, although I said it was blurry and many commented that it's on my side and I should have messed up with some graphic options. Still, I hope that the game gets more vibrant in the future, but as of now I don't care of that. The first Descendant has the core to be a great game in the looter-shooter genre, as it got the elements which makes it an interesting game, and the best part is, it will be free to play. Still, I'm hoping that Nexon will stop their usual way of predatory monetization to make this game a full game. This is still one of the main reasons why players from other looter-shooter games are scared to be fully invested with the first Descendant, as the developers has one of the worst track record when it comes to greedy monetization, and if the game doesn't sell, then they quit and let the game die out, and move on to the next project. No matter how hard you will defend the first Descendant right now to those people who got crapped by Nexon over their monetization, these gamers won't budge and will stay skeptical on this new looter-shooter game. You really can't blame them though, as based on experience, Nexon really has a tendency to fuck things up with their monetization. I haven't played a game developed by Nexon, but I have experienced one named Dragon Nest, which was published by the developers of the first Descendant. Once Identity Games, the developer of Dragon Nest, didn't brought out fresh new content to keep their player base. It was the beginning of the end, as the last move was to port it on mobiles, and it began to tank. The game is still alive, but not as popular as it was before. The game began to be repetitive, and it was always a new nest as their new update to beat up a big dragon boss. Honestly, I'm also scared that this will happen to the first Descendant, and it can't keep up with the longevity of other free-to-play looter-shooter in the market, just like Warframe. In my opinion, the biggest red flag in the first Descendant launch is when we see greedy monetization blatantly showing in our screen. If we will see Descendants, weapons, materials, and all the other stuff in the game will have insane price tag on it, then Nexon will definitely kill their game in just a matter of months. I don't know about you, but this is always the case for Asian games. I'm Asian and I have never seen a live service Asian game that has no price tag on item progression in their game. Another game that I was really hooked up in the past was Cabal, a game developed by another Korean-based developer named EST Soft. The game was fun back in the days, but eventually, and the best part about it is the PvP system of the game, wherein you'll fight against a different faction. This is an all-out battle against the other players in the opposite faction, and I remember those times wherein me and my friends met up in computer shop to play together, and our goal was to help each other out reach the highest level, not only to do difficult dungeons, but also to boost the power level of our clan. Back in my Cabal days, there was a leaderboard for clans, and being at the top of the clan leaderboard was really satisfying for players. There was news that they will bring Cabal 2, but we didn't even get to see it, and I lost interest on the game when the developer finally stopped adding new content to their game. And then a few years later, I heard that the game is already in mobile devices with greedier monetization than ever, which is why I also skeptical with these Asian live service games, and I find Western ones like Warframe and Destiny too trustworthy when it comes to longevity and how constant they bring update to their games. You may not consider Destiny 2 and Warframe the best when it comes to monetization, but they always make sure that there will be updates to their game. In the case of the first Descendant, I'm just hoping that Nexon learned their lesson and will stop the crazy monetization tactics that they implement in their game. Also, content is always king. I just hope that they will bring new ideas into the first Descendant to make it last more than 10 years, just like Warframe. I'm really crossing my fingers on what they said, that they will not be implementing any crazy monetization in their game. So when will the expected release date of the first Descendant? I know many of you were sad when the beta ended, as honestly, that first Descendant beta week was a blast, and many also agree that it was a great experience overall. Players are saying that we might get the full release of the game this December, but honestly, this would be a disaster for the game since, in my opinion, there are things to be fixed during the beta before they even get to the full release. Probably we can expect to see the full release early next year, and March 2024 will be a perfect date for the game to be fully released to both consoles and PC. Why that long though? Like I have said, there are things that the developer needs to address, and the most obvious one is the server issue. I have encountered several crashes in the game, and it's not cool to finally have a Void Intercept boss at 10% health when suddenly the game crashes and takes you back to the login screen. There are instances that the game crashes during special operations, but I'm just glad that the level and the items you gain for these missions won't be gone. I just don't like the Void Intercept and when doing the story mission crashing, as you will need to reset the whole thing again. Also, there were exploits that needs to be gone in the game. Blay was the exploit queen in the first Descendant beta, and players were abusing the character to deal massive damage to bosses and end the fight in 10 seconds or less. The developer also needs to address level requirements on Void Intercept missions, as they should really lock the content to players that have level 40 Descendants. I get the fact that the developers wanted the new players or low level to experience the boss, but it's annoying to have a level 1 Descendant in your team since you will need to revive him or her always instead of focusing in the boss fight. Also, the story is stale, and I hope that there will be a good climatic line in the main story which will change everything. In addition, I think that all Descendants need a proper introduction, like an origin story we can follow, and not just introducing a new Descendant, then unlocking him or her by just farming the stuff in Special Operations and Void Intercept mission. It would be cool if we know a little bit background of each Descendant and not just descriptive text which tells you what a Descendant does and what is his or her abilities. Next, let's talk about looting and the grind in the game. I think it would be better if somehow the first Descendant would give us a pity system wherein, after a couple of runs, the chances of getting the materials we need will go higher. This has been proven to be good practice in Warframe, and many players love the way the Archon hunts right now, since after a couple of runs, the chances of a Tal-forged Archon hunt dropping increases. There are also features in Warframe wherein, if you don't manage to drop the material for a specific weapon or Warframe, then you can just purchase them from the pity shop with the standings you gain for completing the mission you did. Right now, the double loot lock, as I call it, wherein you need to farm and pray for RNG that the amorphous materials you need drops from Special Operations, then farm and pray to RNG again that you will within the amorphous material, you will get the materials you want to craft your favorite weapon or Descendant. What's more worst is that the chances to drop rare items in the game is very slim, that you'll have to go grind and farm over and over and over again. Many said that Nexon will not change this since this will be essential for their monetization. The idea is if you don't want to grind for those materials, then you can purchase it with real money for a discounted price. I really hope that the first Descendant will not just be a big thing at launch, but it will stay to be a good competitor for games like Warframe and Destiny 2. Nexon got the attention of many on their recent cross-play beta, and by the looks of it, they have changed a lot of things after the first beta that made the game even more fun and engaging. I just hope that before the official launch, the developers will listen to all the feedbacks that players gave them in their survey, videos from content creator suggestions, and even to the comments they got on their social medias on how to improve their game. As a looter-shooter fanatic, I'm always happy to find new games from this genre, and I can't wait for the official launch of the first Descendant. Now I would like to know what are the things you would like to add or improve with the first Descendant before the official release. Let's talk and discuss at the comments section below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more the first Descendant content in the future. Thank you so much for watching. Squad Leader signing off.